Hello and welcome everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna continue the story What If Naruto Did the Legendary Summoning Part 5, The End. If you enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
Troublesome, muttered Sarutobi. That makes 8, he said as he handed the report to Danzo. That's troubling. I'm curious how they defeated the 8 Tails container. In any case, one assumes that means we're next, Danzo said, raising an eyebrow. In fact, according to the dates on this report, he was attacked around the same time Konoha was. We must assume they will try again, Sarutobi said, tapping his chin. Akatsuki has been reduced to 4 members. Yes, Kasama, Tobai, Deidara, and Zetsu, Danzo said, frowning. However, I am concerned that they will find a replacement for Itachi, such that Orochimaru will no longer be afraid of Itachi's eye. True, sighed the Hokage deeply. I wish Mitarashi had a higher rank. She's approaching A, but not quite to the point where I could send her against her old mentor, even with the advantage her summons provide. It appears that Team 7 is our best bet, Danzo said, looking sidelong at the crystal ball. Do we need to check on them again? Oh, why not? Sarutobi swept the cloth cover away, and the 2 elderly ninjas settled in to watch their favorite show. Monitor a valuable asset. And, finally, Test 32, Naruto exclaimed, clutching a keening Rasen Shuriken in his palm. Sasuke shifted his gaze from side to side. I'm suddenly feeling a lot more nervous about this. Oh, you'll be fine, Naruto said as he ran forward, spun his arm around, and released the Rasen Shuriken with sage enhancements. Sasuke vanished within a threshing wall of wind chakra. How about that? Sakura inquired. Sasuke shook his head. The clone hasn't vanished yet, but it appears that Tadakatsu truly does render even shadow clones invulnerable. Convenient. Naruto appeared next to them. I believe that's all for today. Is there anything I missed? Sakura stated. I can't think of anything. Sasuke fixed his gaze into the distance. Guys, here we come. Sakura and Naruto exchanged glances. I'm not seeing anything. Neither can I, Sakura admitted, frowning. Her hands wove a pair of seals, and the air in front of her rippled. There we have it. Naruto looked over, perplexed. Is that a wind technique? Yeah, it focuses light so I can see further. Sorry, I think it's beyond your control levels. Anyway, that's Deidara on a bird. Still a couple of miles away. Have you seen Tobai, Kasama, or Zetsu? No, but there wouldn't be, would there? Sigh. The ex-root nin appeared next to Sakura. Do you mind checking with the people who are maintaining the barrier jutsu? Tell them to be extra cautious. I understand, Sai replied with a crowback. Where was he? Sasuke was perplexed. I didn't see him. Naruto's familiar spirit phenomenon. Kyuda Kyuda Kaden. Thank you. In any case, that inspired him, and we've been working on things like living person storage seals and perceptual seals connected to the internal seal space. Essentially, he can store himself in a seal array attached to a flat surface or something. Neat. Guys? Naruto inquired. How do we intend to engage Deidara? The Raijin was drawn by Sasuke. Second strike, because I can stop his attacks. Wait for him to attack, then capitalize on the moment of distraction. Naruto nodded and multiplied himself to begin the construction of a Rasen Shuriken. Sakura disappeared in a swirl of water. Her voice appeared out of thin air after a few seconds. Surely we're in range by now. He blew Naruto's arm off at half that range the last time, confirmed Sasuke. I'm not sure why he hasn't acted yet. Is the clone going to blow us up? Naruto asked, his Rasen Shuriken still at the pre-injection stage so they could talk. Nope, checked the invisible Sakura. That's the true him, and he's not shaping any chakra. Deidara began to wave what appeared to be a handkerchief. Does that look like a parley flag? Sasuke wondered. Seems like, Naruto said, dismissing his Rasen Shuriken. Keep an eye on him, Sasuke, and be ready to blast him if you suspect he'll turn hostile. What are you up to, Naruto? Sakura inquired. I'm going to talk to him because it's worked on other Akatsuki members before. Hello. Naruto, right. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Naruto gave a nod. And you have to be Deidara. Yeah, no hard feelings for blowing off your arm a month or 2 ago. Naruto displayed his unbroken arms. No foul, no arm. Ouch, yeah, Deidara grumbled. Okay, look, we, Tobai, Kasama, and me, yeah. We went and beat up the 8 Tails Jinchuriki, practically leveled on Reikaiō. Which was fun, yeah, the S-class missing nin chuckled. At the end of it, we caught him and took him back to extract him, only to discover that all there was a tentacle. Naruto exclaimed, messing with transformation. That's kind of cool. It was cool, yeah, Deidara said, but apparently it wasn't as big of a deal as it sounded. I'm not sure how it works, I'm just here for the explosions. Yeah? Naruto inquired. Yeah, but then Orochimaru appears, and it's revealed what their entire plan is, the real one, yeah. They have a plan. The Jinchuriki inquired, surprised. I assumed they devised the entire scheme while drunk, and I could have respected that, yeah. Deidara exclaimed enthusiastically. But no, they planned this for a long time, from when one of them tried to set up the Kyuubi on Konoha to today. And you won't believe what their goal is. Did they really tell you? Hell yeah. They thought it'd make us agree. But Kasama already knew, and Orochimaru liked the sound of it. Yeah. But I want it out. Wait, Naruto said, frowning. There are two things here that I don't want to forget. First, if it was Orochimaru and Kasama being told, who was they? Tobai, him and Zetsu, Deidara said glumly. I'm not sure what's going on with him. He seemed so fun and jokey when we were out on missions. Yeah. Naruto shook his head. How about the second item? What was the plan? Hypnotize everyone on the planet with the moon so they all think they have a perfect life, Deidara joked. Naruto's eyes blinked. What? Yeah. Okay, that makes so little sense that I don't even know where they're coming from. Does it get better? Deidara inquired. Apparently, all they need now is a portion of the 9 tails, not all of the tailed beasts. Naruto paused after raising his thumb to his mouth. Hey, Sasuke, are you still watching? Yes, said Sasuke from the middle distance. Good. Hey, Deidara, please repeat this sentence. I am no longer associated with Akatsuki and wish to put an end to them. I'm no longer a member of Akatsuki, yeah. Deidara repeated. And I'm completely in favor of stopping them. What do you think? Naruto finished the summoning. Ikamaru, go check on Sora. Sasuke, what's the verdict? Sasuke appeared next to Naruto. He was being truthful. You know, that eye of yours is pretty handy, Naruto observed. Did you happen to notice that? All the time, Naruto. All the time. Though I could do without having every last detail of that conversation memorized for the rest of my life. I hope I haven't copied his speech tick. I don't have a speech tick, yeah. Deidara scoffed. Don't be concerned, Naruto said, patting his shoulder. The first step is admitting you have a problem. I used to end many of my sentences with the same thing, but I got therapy for it. Naruto was suddenly struck by something. That particular tick was genetic, though not from the same side as the hair, otherwise, I would have assumed we were related. Heh, yeah. No, some Iwa clans do have relatives in Konoha, right. In my case, I believe I am a distant branch of the Yamanaka, right. Huh, neat. That'll come in handy. How? First stop. The T&I department, Naruto said calmly, raising his hands. I know. But since you're such an important guy, I think they'll bring the Yamanaka head back in to look you over, and you can ask about staying over there for a while. Do you think they'll let me? Sakura seemed to condense from the air. You're a former antagonist who had a conversation with Naruto. That's a Form N21. Naruto did it again. She rubbed her chin as she stepped into place. So far, let's see. The Kyuubi herself, sort of. Dara of the Sand and Shukaku. Itachi, Konan, Nagato. Itachi. Deidara cut in. When did that occur, and who is Nagato? Within 2 minutes of meeting Naruto, he told us everything he knew about Akatsuki's plans. Sakura said. Of course, he was infiltrating Akatsuki all along, but anyway, Nagato is Akatsuki's former leader, the one with the 6 puppet bodies and piercings. That's strange. Yeah, Deidara said, looking sidelong at the other blonde. What's the matter with you, kid? Not that I'm aware of, Naruto shrugged. It appears to work, though. Ikamaru resurfaced. He's fine, but the monastic community has decided to fortify. If they do, it's probably for the best. So, the situation hasn't changed much, Sasuke explained as they waited for Inoichi. It's just that we now know Orochimaru has returned and Deidara is no longer a member of the organization. Sakura joked. Soon we could probably mange a quorum of members and take the name Akatsuki from them. It could be fun, Deidara chuckled. That reminds me, what are your thoughts on explosions? Yeah. Team 7 awkwardly looked from one to the other. Naruto took the floor first. When you ask like that, and we think about it, we cause an incredible number of them. Oh, sure. Basically, I'm a Jinchuriki who can do the Biju ball. Sakura has custom explosive tags and can constantly do fire-wind combos. Sasuke can shoot shuriken so fast that they blow holes in rock. And Sai's summons specialize in explosives of some kind. Specialize, Sai responded. The crows invented a way to make explosions happen inside a tube, which propels something forward very quickly. And they also invented something called a firework. That sounds kind of cool, and I'd like to see it. You'd probably do it, wouldn't you? Sakura joked. Oh, they appear to be prepared for us. How about that? Sarutobi inquired. He's telling the truth, and he appears to be willing to throw his lot in with us for the time being, Inoichi confirmed. Though there was one thing he didn't notice, I'm not surprised. People remember more than they consciously notice. Orochimaru was performing the impure world resurrection as Deidara left. That can't be good, sighed the third. Well, we'll have to stay on medium alert. For the time being, all ninja who aren't attached to genin teams are on watch on. Watch off, and genin teams are 3-shift. Understood, Inoichi nodded. I'll take Deidara to our spare apartment and then go down to the sensory room to keep an eye on the situation. Thank you, Inoichi, said Sarutobi. I appreciate your assistance. I will be in my office, ready to do whatever is required. Second in command is Tsunade, should the worst happen. Naruto rolled out of bed before the alarm went off. Heh, it appears that last night's training did not exhaust me as much as usual. Kyuda chuckled drowsily. Most likely because you ran out of ideas. Yeah, but I've got more now. Right, let's see. 5 cups of ramen should suffice for breakfast. 2 minutes for the food, and I can spend that changing. I need to see if that demonic sage mode is a good idea. Remember, you're on patrol duty after 10. Naruto hummed, yeah, thanks. Making 500 clones to cover his patrol pattern would work. But he wouldn't be able to practice sage mode while they were out. And then there's the non-sage Rasen Shuriken that can be thrown. That sounds like a long day. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this one, Naruto said, smiling. He had a pretty amazing life. To begin, explosions were evaluated as training achievements. Sasuke stepped out the door, his mind racing with potential new ideas. Perhaps he could try summoning a Thunderbird and merging his electrical element with the summons. Equations floated around in the back of his mind, more felt than calculated. A proper use of the Raijin would allow his mount and himself to draw on the power, and if they fired out blasts of lightning with opposing polarity spaced apart, they could potentially cause equalization at the target and cause vast transient currents. In fact, if he understood the most recent book he'd read, matter itself was thought to be mostly made up of electrical charges. Playing with them could be very useful, and, of course, dangerous. But that was how things worked in the ninja world. At the very least, there were shadow clones to play with. Sakura wove a web of chakra into her hair and grinned triumphantly as it took without a hitch. Finally, this was a clever little contingent water jutsu, designed to activate only when a hostile ninja grabbed her hair. It transferred the stored water into the ninja's hands, which should be messy, but also prevent them from grabbing her hair. She finally felt like she had a legitimate reason for her long hair. Jiraiya was avoiding teaching her needle Jizo, so this was a suitable substitute. Good day, Sakura. She raised her head. Sasuke appeared to be second to the training grounds today. What exactly is it? Just, Sasuke was embarrassed. If someone had told me 3 years ago that I'd be saying this, I'd never have believed them. Want to go out tonight, Sakura? Sakura felt as if she'd been hit with a light lightning technique. Sure, she said as quickly as she could. Thank you, I mean, I'd love to. But I never asked because, well, I thought it'd be too similar to me before I became a ninja. I respect you as a ninja enough now, Sakura, Sasuke said. Just don't tell Ino about it, okay? I'd never use it to get a cheap shot on her, Sakura declared emphatically. I learned my lesson there. Good. For a few more seconds, they stood awkwardly. So, Sakura exclaimed brightly. I just remembered what I was going to ask. Do you have a true understanding of lightning when you use your Masamune power? Yeah. Can you tell me what the Celestials call it? Hold on a second, and I'll see if I can remember it. Sasuke blinked, his eyes opening to reveal the red swirl of his eternal Mangekyo. Masamune is the lightning left-eyed dragon. Sakura heard the word and felt it disassemble in her mind into its component concepts. Oh wow, that's what I was missing. I knew there were 2 polarities, and that there was a difference between one that is the presence of electrons and another that is the absence. But I didn't realize the cores of atoms were also the absence type of electricity. No problem, Sasuke said, walking over to a free space and starting running through kata. Good, Naruto thought to himself. I'm the first. He sat down and formed a shadow clone after taking a deep breath. The clone started gathering sage energy and reached out to the natural world. Huh? The clone said after a split second, before Naruto could begin drawing on Millie. This feels strange, like I'm weaker than usual. Nature's energy. Naruto inquired. It's strange, is it still there? Yeah, I think I'll be fine. Alright, go for it, and let me know when you're done. The clone resumed his meditation, and Naruto searched within himself. Alright, Millie, he reflected, casting it into his own mind in the manner that the Kyuubi would hear. You'll need to keep your cool for this one. What, exactly, is it required, or merely a strong recommendation? I believe it is necessary, Naruto pondered. If it turns out to be true, which I doubt, we could be in big trouble. Yes, I understand. Maybe. Oh well, I can practice Zen. Naruto's eyes blinked. Can you do Zen? Ozzy demonstrated how. I believe he was impressed by how quickly I received it. It only took 10 years. The Jinchuriki grinned. That I can accept. Okay, let's start with something easy. His mindscape shook with a rumbling purring, and he blinked. ... Did you fall asleep? Yep. Millie's head popped up just long enough to give that bright, clear answer. Then she dropped back onto her paws and resumed snoring. Naruto shook his head. Sure, I'll take it. To avoid disturbing Millie, he slowly drew on her chakra as he emerged from his meditative state. After about a minute, he determined that he had roughly equal to his normal sage power levels in red chakra. The clone gave the thumbs up. Ready. All right, dispel. The clone appeared. Sasuke twirled the Raijin. He could sense the presence of electrons as well as the sword's lightning dancing up and down the semi-real blade. He couldn't figure out how to make the absence happen. Was it related to his actions in a Kirin? Then he blasted lightning into the sky to ionize a specific path. Ionization. That was all. Everything was normally in balance, and the normal lightning element chakra was electron addition. But there should also be an absence. He concentrated hard, attempting to draw the lightning chakra out of the Raijin faster than it could be generated. It had no effect on the charge levels. He then realized the blade core was devoid of electrons. That's how it went. So all he had to do to create a weapon that actually exploded what it cut was to change the way it was set. Make the electrons generated by nature chakra flow into him, and use the balance to strengthen the blade. But he'd have to isolate it as well. This would be so much easier if he took a moment to double-check his structure. His left eye was drawn to the Manjikaio-kun. Sakura murmured, lightning. It answered a lot of questions. The lightning element was the most offensive of all the basic elements, and the only defensive use of the element she was familiar with offhand was the Raijin's side effect. The sword that cut chakra, by repelling it from the blade itself, as well as repelling whatever touched the blade from the blade corona. It forced the chakra it touched to become lightning, and then tore it apart. And in some ways, that was offensive. She now understood why. Electromagnetism was one of the universe's 4 fundamental forces. The fact that there were 4 was self-evident, as was the fact that electromagnetism was the only force with a directly associated chakra nature. The other 3 forces, which eluded her but she was aware of their presence, were things that chakra either ignored or overrode. One chakra embraced electromagnetism. The area came back to her, and this time she gave it voice. She was in a good mood at the time. I am the god's heirloom. My method is insight, and my path is one of mystery. I've seen and comprehended everything. There has been both fire and water. Leap from the ground to the air. I danced in the center of my multifaceted self. Everything I've worn has been woven from blue and gold. Sakura-chan is and will always be my name. Naruto fell out of bed and onto the floor. Wait, what the hell happened? Kyuda did not respond. Naruto examined his skin and noticed that the animate tattoo was still sleeping. Hey, get up. Nothing. Millie, how are you? What in the world is going on? Huh? Millie replied drowsily. Was it successful? What did you accomplish? Were you planning on combining my power with Sage Mode? Naruto's eyes blinked. That wasn't a dream, was it? I didn't notice anything. Had we both had the same dream? I'm not sure. Naruto cast a glance out the window. Is your mind scrambling your chakra? I think there's something wrong. Millie agreed, and Kyuda awoke with a startled gasp. What happened just now? I'm not sure, but it can't be good. There's no one patrolling the roofs, and you were delusory. Kyuda made a hum. Plan, for starters. Find the others, Naruto said as he opened his window, set his security seals, and jumped out. Sasuke's eyes widened. That's my room's ceiling. Why am I still sleeping? Is it an illusion? Almost certainly. How was I assaulted? He shifted his gaze to the window, then to the door. There is no sign of commotion. So, a large area. How large is the area? And strong. It took away my ability to move and created a completely believable world. It was broken when I used my Manjikaio Sharingan at the time. This implies that it is a Manjikaio power. Akatsuki is the most likely caster. The motive is unknown. Determine the time since the illusion began. If it happened yesterday, it's most likely their world capture illusion. All of this flashed through his mind as he began to get out of bed. A plan had formed by the time he was dressed. Locate the others and compare notes. Individual or shared world. When? Primary concerns. If they haven't broken it yet, use Manjikaio on them to do so. Sasuke bolted out the door, fully prepared for battle. Sakura had a light feeling. She acted as if she didn't care about anything. And before her was an endless vista of possibility. She was the same person she had been moments before. but she was engulfed in a massive genjutsu that appeared to be capable of ensnaring entire populations. Looking around, she realized it had ensnared an entire population. There were different versions of herself everywhere, doing something a little different. She could feel them all, faintly, like echoes, or maybe glimpses of a book as one rifled through it. Many of them were nothing more than shadows, only going through the motions of a daily routine, in case the illusion for that specific entrapped person required her to interact with it. It was a little more detailed for those in Konoha, and even more so for those who knew her, and she was aware of how it worked. Every last detail of how it created a net of completely inescapable illusion around whoever happened to be the target of that illusory bubble. It dug deep into their desires, beliefs, and needs and gave them whatever fit with what they already knew, and picked the nicer outcomes where there was chance. That meant the real Sasuke hadn't asked her out, and her heart sank for a brief moment. That lure had been used by the illusion, and she had been duped, reeled in, not suspecting anything. But she was now aware. She was more self-aware than she had ever been before because she knew her true name. Sakura, 3 syllables, but that was like saying the dead demon-consuming seal was a circle and a squiggle, or the cursed seal of heaven had some commas. There were melodic overtones and undertones, as well as an entire symphony of sound, all wrapped up in the musical words higher harmonics. The magnificent tree with delicate petals, the new life that symbolizes death, the eternal symbol of change, the earthly tree that symbolizes the clouds, pure color petals, where the beauty is in the variations. In a nutshell, dichotomy, and she knew lightning had helped her understand that. In the most fundamental sense, it was a dichotomy. She reached out and touched herself, the center of her own illusion. It disintegrated like gossamer. The others vanished from her awareness, and she was once again Sakura Haruno. But Sakura's memory lingered, and she could still see what had previously required the conscious summoning of gold chakra. A memory came to mind. When she became transcendent, neither Naruto nor Sasuke's versions of her were still present. They must have escaped on their own. She dashed downstairs, conjuring a scrying jutsu from thin air and pinpointing them both. Each was on their way to their usual training ground, which was fine. A petal-swirling body flicker propelled her across space to join them. Well, this is bad, Naruto concluded. You're telling me, Sakura grumbled. At the very least, it only took effect last night, confirming what Deidara told us, and since you, in particular, have not dropped back into it, it appears that it has only one chance. Most mental invasion illusions in the area are like that, Sasuke agreed. They can't keep firing to catch anyone in the area who the first one missed, because the act of firing will disrupt the chakra, causing the illusion to fall apart. So, Naruto said as he clapped his hands, we 3, Kyuda, Millie, our summons, and possibly Gaara, make up our total force. Why Gaara? Sakura inquired, nodding. Of course, Shikaku could have broken the illusion one way or another. Exactly. Now, I believe we should go beat up Akatsuki. Any objections? Not from me, Sasuke stated. Is there anyone else we can bring in as reinforcements? They must be able to break the illusion from within, Sakura said, her eyes slightly averted. Nothing can get through, no external chakra. Millie and Kyuda are partially integrated into your chakra system, so it broke for them as well. How do you know that? I just do, Sakura shrugged. I'm not sure why, but it makes sense. She smirked. Actually, I could probably help people break it. But it has to be someone with a technique that can break the illusion and who knows me reasonably well. Hinata, Naruto inquired. Sakura's head shook. I don't think the Byakugan is enough to break this. If it was, at least one Hyuga would have escaped it by now. Some of them turn it on as part of their morning routine. Right? Sasuke said, frowning. Sharing in work. Anyway, Manjikayo, and I don't think there's another kind anymore, Kakashi. On it, Sakura said as she sat Caesar and started breathing deeply and evenly. I think we should make a list while she's in there, Naruto suggested. Kakashi handed the blade fragments to his student. Are you certain you can fix it? Sakura replied, unwrapping the cloth to reveal the prized Hadake white light chakra saber. But I'll give it a shot. Thank you, Sakura, Kakashi sighed. I should have had it fixed years ago, but guilt over how I broke the blade was holding me back. Maybe I can let go of that guilt while the blade's wounds heal. Perhaps, Sakura agreed, twitching. To be honest, I'm not optimistic. Pardon? Kakashi inquired, certain he'd misheard. I said I didn't have much hope of fixing it because the chakra network of the blade is actually cauterized. Kakashi activated his Sharingan by raising his blindfold. I don't see hold on. I don't see anything with my left eye. Because there's nothing to see, Sakura lamented. This is an illusion. Go Manjikayo with your left eye and that should completely break it. Sorry, sensei. Kakashi's gaze shifted to the bladed petals. In the ready room, he jerked awake. There were other ninja all around him. Chunin and Jonin slumped where they'd been when the illusion triggered. Izuma was sprawled across the floor, one hand reaching for a smashed glass of something that couldn't possibly be alcohol. What just happened? He wondered, slightly perplexed. Had to be one hell of an illusion to get all of us. Sekira. She'd been delusory with him, hadn't she? He should go find her. Someone else stirred as he made his way to the door, stepping over Izumo. Kurenai muttered, so that's how it is. Oh well, it appears to have finally paid off. She moved her gaze away from the table, which held 20 senbon, none of which dug into the table's surface and all of which balanced perfectly on their points. She wasn't sure if other illusion specialists did it, but Kurenai had 2 tricks she practiced twice a day to detect if she was in an illusion. She had a box in her apartment with a complex pattern inside it for those illusions that were imposed on others, which was only ever opened for her to check, and which displayed something subtly off if anyone else did. That was alright. She had this little senbon balancing trick for those illusions that infiltrated the mind and had the mind itself make the illusion's details fill in gaps. In the real world, it was essentially impossible. But her deepest desire, which she had damned sure and certain was her deepest desire, and also her deepest fear, was that this test be correct. As a result, it had shown her the correct answer. She was in an illusory world created by someone else. Right? The second step. Her chakra was jumbled. Nothing, as expected, something powerful enough to trap her without her even realizing it would be more powerful than her relatively low chakra supply. Maintaining an illusion this complex would require a lot of mental energy, either hers or some other entity's. And, fortunately, she knew exactly how to proceed. The news that her old teammates had been discovered alive in an Odo territory bunker had initially made her nervous. The strike team had told her that they'd only just arrived when a raged ninja tried to kill them. So she stormed out of the building and up to Inka's room. It's been a while, Inka. Inka scratched the back of his neck, saying, "You have no idea, Nai. And look at you, Jonin. I never imagined you'd get this far. Do you have a team?" "Yes, I do," Kurenai said, nodding along. 3 talented young Chunin. "I sometimes feel more like their mother than anything else," she frowned. "Actually, what was the name of your mother?" "I never found out." I don't know," Inka said, suddenly troubled. "And how about your father?" "Shijiro," Inka replied quickly. "Remember, he taught swordsmanship to Hadake." "I do," Kurenai replied. "And what was your mother's area of expertise?" "I'm not sure." "Strange," Kurenai said, tapping her chin. "Perhaps there's a logical explanation. How was the team that captured you?" "I'm not sure." "What were you up to when you were apprehended?" "I don't know either," Inka admitted, his face flushed. "Are you for real?" "No," Inka replied, relieved that one had come up to which he knew the answer. Then blinked, his eyes widening. "Wait a minute, I didn't. If you're not real, what makes me believe the rest of the world is?" A sharp stabbing pain, similar to a migraine, struck her and her vision blurred. She was waking up in the waiting room. "Kurenai," Kakashi inquired. "Are you okay? Did you manage to break free from the illusion?" "Yes," she said, rising unsteadily to her feet. "I asked the illusion too many questions to which no one alive has an answer." "Did it work?" "Only because I already knew I was in an illusion. If I hadn't known, I'm sure my own mind would have come up with plausible alternatives." Nothing was more thrilling than sanctioned demolitions, Deidara knew. Instead of trying to stop you, they basically gave you an area of influence and said go wild. Konoha had already accomplished this, and he was hard at work transforming the Uchiha district into a series of gradually deepening and merging craters. "How are you, Deidara?" Deidara turned around to see a pink-haired chick perched on the back of an ink bird. "What exactly is it?" "I'm curious, what's under your eye patch? Is it a Sharingan?" The missing nin turned around, stunned. "Sharingan? Yeah. No, yeah. My eye has been trained to see through Sharingan illusions because they twist and diffuse my art." "Oh, okay. Sorry." Sekira, the pink-haired girl, looked contrite. It seems like most people with eye patch have Sharingan under them at times." "I understand what you mean, especially since Tobai has Sharingan, which is one of the reasons I dislike him now. Well, it does allow a Sharingan user to see every detail of an explosion in slow motion, and..." Sekira trailed off. "How can your eye see through Sharingan illusions?" "I trained it with this, yeah," Deidara exclaimed, pointing to her eye patch. "See, it's a scope that allows me to see long distances, yeah. But the whole shebang improves my eye when I'm not using it, and I can now make it see what's really there, yeah." "Nice. Do you mind if I do a quick test?" Sekira asked, making hand seals. "All right, go ahead." Sekira disappeared in a whirlwind of petals. Her voice appeared from nowhere. "Can you see me in my invisibility?" "I like a challenge, yeah." Deidara said as he removed his eyepiece and stumbled out of bed. Naruto grabbed his arm and lifted him up. Good morning. It was the only way Sakura could think of to break the illusion. Huh? Yeah, Deidara said, looking around. Let me guess, that moon eye illusion has already gone off. Yeah, Naruto agreed. Right, Deidara said, cracking his knuckles and muttering protests with his hands. Let's start blowing Tobai and the rest of those jerks off the planet, yeah. Hold on, Naruto advised. We're going to make sure that everyone who's going in goes together, which means we'll have to pick up Kakashi and Gaara. Gaara? Deidara inquired, her voice trembling. He has no resentment toward my killing him, right? Probably not, Naruto said, shrugging. How come Deidara is hiding behind you, Naruto? Gaara inquired. There's no reason, yeah. Defied Deidara. I just feel like it, yeah. Very well. What is our plan? I can show you where the main base is, yeah. Deidara volunteered. They moved out of Rain Country and there's this gigantic underground cavern, yeah. It's full of really stupid clones of the white half of Zetsu, yeah. Define really stupid, Sakura asked. I mean, you know, Naruto bad or worse. Naruto could beat them in shogi, yeah. Deidara said promptly. They're really stupid. Yeah, okay. Ideas? Naruto asked. Our main advantage is aerial, Sasuke said. With both myself and Deidara, along with Gaara's personal sand flight technique, we can remain airborne and close in on wherever the Ten Tails itself is. And then blow it up, yeah. Naruto and Deidara chorused. Pretty much, Sakura volunteered. Like all enormous chakra constructs, it's solid enough that it can take a lot of punishment, but healing away that punishment drains available chakra. I still don't know even if it's something that can be killed, much less how. But worst comes to worst, we can force it to break the illusion and then Nagato can throw it back into the moon. Or whatever. Why didn't you wake him up, actually? Kurenai asked. I understand your method of breaking the illusion involves helping the subject break it themselves, but wouldn't the Rinnegan suffice? It might, Sakura said, nodding. But the main problem is that he's very ill. It's too far for his paths to stay properly under control, and without Tsunade or Konan we can't move him safely. I see. Kurenai nodded. I wasn't aware of those details, thank you for elaborating. She then frowned. Though considering the caliber of opposition we may be facing, I doubt I would be much help myself. Perhaps a compromise might be a good plan. Break the illusion on him, and he and I shall keep Konoha safe. Good idea. Sakura nodded, then closed her eyes for a second. Alright, that should do it. That was quick. Kakashi said. Well, it's hard to explain. Basically, I copied my full personality over into the fragment of myself that exists in his personal illusion world. It'll take a while for that Sakura to find him and get him to turn his Rinnegan on, but I've done what I need to. Alright, the female Jonin nodded to herself. I'll go to his room. 203. Sakura supplied. 5th floor. Thank you. Anyway, I'll go there and fill him in as he awakens. You have our gratitude, Gaara said, formally. Now, we should set off as soon as possible. Sasuke contemplated for a moment. Deidara, put a clone on a clay bird out in front. I'll fly above everyone else, and the rest of you keep in loose formation. Naruto, Sage Mode if you can. Will do. Sakura, keep an eye out for anything else thrown at us. I'm going to keep a Mangekyo up just in case they try restarting the illusion. I hope they don't. Sakura agreed. And yes, I'll see if I spot anything. Sensei, reserve. You're our most experienced. I understand, Sasuke. Kakashi said, all business. Gaara, how well can you summon sand outside of Suna? It takes a substantial amount of chakra, but I can create desert terrain on any given battlefield. The Kazekage said, Shukaku is willing to keep me charged as far as he is able, though of course his chakra levels are lower than those of the Kyuubi by a substantial amount. Good. As soon as a static battle starts to develop, lay it down. We're better served by terrain friendly to you than anything else. Understood. Sand flowed from nowhere, and Gaara began levitating on a cloud of sand. Very well. Let's go. Sasuke slammed his thumb to the ground, summoning a trio of hawks and a thunderbird, and Deidara launched his clay bird decoy before unsealing a dragon he'd made earlier. Nice. Naruto commented. You like it? Yeah, this dragon breathes explosives. Yeah. So, Naruto said, questioningly, banking his hawk closer to the great clay dragon. What did the illusion show you? What do you think? Deidara asked. Blowing things up? Yeah. Should have expected that. Naruto laughed. Kakashi, I only got as far as asking Sakura to remake my father's weapon, the white light chakra saber. Kakashi said. Then Sakura helped me break out of the illusion. Neat. For me it was just another day's training, really. Or I didn't get far into it. Gaara, mother, Gaara said, simply. A spike of white light shot from the ground and disintegrated the clay clone ahead of them. Evasive, Kakashi shouted, and the Hawk's dragon cloud of sand split up on diverging vectors. Who was that? Naruto yelled, casting around with Sage mode. I can't feel anything. Someone in bandages, Sakura said, frowning. I can barely see him. It's like he's made himself part of the world, and he's so far away. Lines of burning air shot down from well overhead, some of them intercepted by cones and cylinders of white light. I recognize that, Kakashi said, before raising his voice. It's the second cage of Earth. Orochimaru must have resurrected him. Techniques. He defines shapes and then disintegrates what's inside them. Naruto tracked the pattern of lights for a moment. Looks like Sasuke is winning, to me. Why? Those shots of his are getting lower and lower. Boom, Deidara shouted, and the white light shape stopped. Railgun blasts rained down for another second or so unopposed, then likewise stopped. Sakura glanced over at Deidara. Did you just blow the second Tsuchikage up? Yeah. Mini Dragon Missile C2, yeah. Sasuke is not going to be pleased, Naruto said before shrugging. We're ninja, after all. I am prone to forgetting. Well, they know we're here now, Kakashi said, pointing to several shapes moving near the cratered field where Tsuchikage had been. Wow, Sakura said as she lensed the air again, her hawk perceptibly moving to hover and scanning the ground. Lots of dead cages, 4th K's, 3rd Rai, 2nd Mizu, and so many a to S-rank ninja. Look, 5 of the 7 swordsmen. I would, Naruto said, but we're too high up. Oh, I'm sorry and... Wow, the gold and silver brothers, I believe. I recall them, Millie stated. They were delicious, but then they ate my stomach, and that was the end of it. I shall take on my father, Gaara droned, dropping out of formation. Around the same time, Sasuke declared his preference with a volley of hyper-velocity shuriken that ricocheted erratically from the 3rd Raikage. With a harsh cry, the Thunderbirds stooped through their formation. Sakura shook her head. Wasn't the 2nd Mizu an illusionist? I'll take him on. I'm the best at dealing with the gold and silver brothers, Naruto explained. Millie has worked with them before. That, and I believe they can go up to 6 tails, muttered Kakashi. Right, Deidara? It appears that you and I will have to deal with the swordsmen. Works for me, Deidara exclaimed. Do you want Shibuki? All right, Kakashi said, although the prospect is terrifying. It'll keep you on your toes, won't it? Deidara's dragon reabsorbed much of its tail, producing a half-dozen independent dragon missiles. Hold on, I have to reload, yeah. Gaara said monotonously. Father. Son, said the 4th Kazekage. So, what happened to you? Gaara inquired, intrigued. How did Orochimaru manage to kill you? Letter opener, the 4th sneered. How are you doing? Are you still insane? Gaara's eyes blinked. I'm dressed in the Kazekage hat. Have you seen what the 4th Mizukage has done? You have a point, Gaara conceded. But no, Shukaku was under mind control, and he's actually quite fun, if rowdy. I'm not sure how any of this is possible, said the elder. But, you know, I'm going to have to kill you. Orders. Gold dust wave. Gaara replied, instant desert. 2 massive waves, one of sand and one of gold, collided like freight trains. Where do you get all of the gold? Gaara inquired. And not sure. His father trailed off. It's sort of just there. I'm still baffled as to why you didn't use it to solve Suna's trade problems. I did. So you didn't get a good deal. Shouldn't your sand be gone by now? Gaara raised his head. I've synchronized with my Biju. It's simple as long as he's sleeping. Interesting, I say. Yes, and I now have a summons contract. Having one is usually beneficial. More sand, both normal and gold, collided in a never-ending avalanche of grains. I died once, Gaara offered. Chio got me back. What was it like for that old bat to come back to life? It wasn't as impressive as you might expect. It was more like waking up. Do you know how that feels? Well, I awoke near a large devastated area that was surrounded by much of the village, so it's similar to when Shukaku possessed me. Huh? Totoro then smacked Gaara's father on the back of the head with a large plank. Gaara muttered, I suspect you weren't really trying. The sand burial. I believe I understand why he wasn't trying. Shukaku offered to help. Your mother did love you when they did the whole ceiling thing. Sorry, I kind of forgot it was important before now. Are you certain? I was present. In a saucepan. Granted, I was extremely irritated, but I was present. She completely engulfed you as the last of her life ebbed away. It was rather touching. Thank you for finally telling me. What else do you want from me? I was drunk and hypnotized. The massive sand monster grumbled. Drunk? To keep me quiet, they filled the kettle with sake several times. Sasuke's Thunderbird swooped only low enough to release him, then rose back into the air, and began forming lightning chakra, forming a massive charge. That would be sufficient for Kirin in the absence of a thundercloud. Sasuke's gaze followed the 3rd Raikage as he moved, assessing his target. He already knew the third was ridiculously fast, more durable than almost anyone who had ever lived, and could fight a tailed beast to a draw. The 8 tails, in fact. 10,000 enemy shinobi had taken 3 days and nights to finally kill him, which, to be honest, was a little ridiculous. Perhaps they were all genin. He also possessed the lightning armor. Sasuke could see how it was done roughly, but not exactly, and that it would neutralize almost any lightning technique he tried. As the Raikage approached, a barrage of Chidori Senbin confirmed it. They didn't even get close to his skin. Sasuke activated the Raijin and blocked a vicious knife hand strike, then dodged away from another using his Sharingan. But it wasn't enough. Mitsunari. The world didn't slow down any longer, but his own body accelerated to match his eyes. It was like sparring with Naruto when he didn't use his Sharingan. Or, no, that wasn't right either, because he had forewarning from his eyes. He had to react half instinctively and half coldly, always interposing the blade between any strike he couldn't avoid and his body, refusing to be contacted by any part of his brawler of an opponent. He knew he was fighting a losing battle. Even when he was alive, the third had such incredible stamina that even Naruto couldn't match it. He died only when his chakra was completely depleted, after 3 days of constant battle. Ninjakaio's eyes sped up, deciphering every detail of the lightning armor. It infiltrated the nerves, and there was some dermal reinforcement. Atomic bonds could be formed at any time. All matter was made of emptiness and electricity. It's no surprise the Raikage's skin was so tough. He could take what made things strong and tell it to be stronger. But there had to be a flaw. There was no perfect trump card. A cry rang out from above. With an instant flicker, Sasuke disengaged and gasped for air as lightning rained down from above. Then he noticed something. When he was hit, the Raikage had slowed. Just for a moment, but yes, the lightning armor was powerful, long-lasting, and precise. It was so well balanced that any additional power input exacerbated the situation. And, more importantly, it coincided with his nervous impulses. Sasuke summoned Tobias and a Thunderbird chick by flashing through the summoning seals once more. "What do you require?" Tobias inquired. "All business. I need you to be ready to hit the old Raikage over there when I disrupt his lightning armor. And I need the chick to give me an electric aura armor jutsu, because I'll be concentrating all of my attention on the Raijin." "You think you can do it?" Tobias asked the girl, who nodded. "That's excellent." The young sage leapt, spreading his wings and red tail. Natural chakra was already gathering along Sasuke's wing feathers. He caught the chick in a minor illusion as he turned. It didn't stop him from perceiving anything. Rather, it provided additional information. "It is faster than talking." The young Thunderbird obediently pulsed alternating current across his body at 50 cycles per second. That concludes the initial clash. Sasuke shifted his attention to the Raijin and changed its form. Instead of the overedge's expanded shape, he compressed it. It was only a Tanto, but as he activated Masamune, it shone brilliantly blue. The girl said nervously. "Incoming." Sasuke's head snapped up, and he barely avoided a knife-hand Raijin strike. Backpedaling with fluid grace in Mitsunari's grip, he watched the lightning armor and the third's movements intently, blocking every attack less than a tenth of a second before it hit. So, he has a 40 times per second signal for his left first finger's second joint and a 35 times per second signal for his right second finger's third joint. Sasuke gradually matched fluctuations in the lightning armor to muscle movements. It accelerated nerve impulses, so it had to carry the signal. And he sent the chick a complex signal pattern, then flipped the Raijin to block mode, and placed a hand directly on the chest. The third looked up. "Tadakatsu," Sasuke said, then stabbed the Thunder God's sword straight into his no longer moving right arm, which had stopped abruptly at his skin. His electric aura armor's pulsing signal had overridden the third's control of his arm, causing it to lock up. The Raijin overruled this by issuing a series of commands that caused his right arm to stab straight into his own chest and pierce the heart. As the orbiting bird summoned him and the chick, Sasuke vanished in a puff of smoke, just as Tobias struck the third's vulnerable form like a clawed meteorite. Sakura touched down gently. "Thank you, but where is the second Mizukage?" "Hello, child," said a voice. "Do you know how Mist is doing these days?" "They're fine." She shrugged, noticing that the speaking voice was an illusion. "The fourth was a bit of a nut job, but the fifth is a lot more stable," says Mei Terume, a lava and boil user. "Ah, I see. Thank you. Now I must inquire about the pink hair." "Natural," Sakura said, shrugging. "Aha." She vanished after spinning an illusion around herself. "What?" the second asked, his eyes widening as a 50-foot otter appeared. Sakura's voice called out, "Hi, Daxter. Hey, there's an appropriately sized clam 10 feet to the left of that rock spire. Lunchtime." "Thank you," exclaimed Daxter, and he pounced. Sakura winced as she looked at Daxter. After securing the clam with 3 of his paws and breaking off the spire with the 4th, he began hammering away at it in the same way that normal-sized otters attacked normal-sized clams. "That has to hurt." Oh, muttered the Mizukage as the boss summon broke through his defenses methodically. Sakura materialized and electrocuted him as soon as the shell cracked, preventing him from changing form. "And that's that," she said, content. "Wow, new record. Sorry about that bad matchup for you. I can see," said the former Cage, slightly dazed. Naruto landed hard, just behind a Sage Race and Shuriken, and immediately formed clones to ensure he had a clear sight radius. "Wait a minute, are those the treasured tools?" Kinkaku and Jinkaku both nodded. "Cool. Wait, I know how these work. If I say the word I say the most in my life, something bad happens. Thank you again, Ni. Speech therapy may just save my life here." The brothers appeared disheartened and dropped 3 of the 5 tools. Kinkaku was holding the pot, and Jinkaku was holding the fan. In the pot, something about responding when someone calls your name. Right, no more speaking. Kinkaku turned to face Jinkaku. "Brother." Jinkaku remained silent, his gaze fixed on the pot. "Oh, sorry," the gold brother apologized, and the silver exhaled a sigh of relief. "Anyway, should we just blast him with the fan or go straight to tailed state?" "Tails," Jinkaku remarked. "It's been a while." Both brothers focused, then practically exploded as they each pulled on 6 chakra tails. "Millie," Naruto inquired. "It's all yours." Nodding, Naruto drew on 7 chakra tails and felt himself transform. "So," he said after all 3 ninja had transformed into giant foxes. "Pankration, sumo, or boxing?" "Pardon?" Kinkaku inquired. "I was wondering what rules we were going to follow." "In the ninja world, anything is allowed," Jinkaku said. "Rules are for wimps." "All right," Naruto exclaimed cheerfully. "Sage mode of the demonic." A clone appeared, and Naruto's reddish-orange fur transformed into pure, vibrant orange. Kinkaku inquired, "Is that legal?" "Oh no, me and my big mouth," lamented Jinkaku. "All right, brother, let's put up a good fight." "You said it, sir." Except for the larger number of tails and the scale, what happened next resembled Kit's fighting in the forest of confusion. "Oh, muttered Deidara. "You'd think a 5-rank ninja would be more durable." Kakashi nodded absently, his gaze fixed on the shambles. The clay dragons on Kiba's twin blades indicated that the ninja wielding them had stopped 2 of the incoming explosives. But the remaining 4 had still destroyed all 5 members of the 7 swordsmen. "So, where did that base go?" "Over here, yeah. About 100 meters down a tunnel here, yeah." "Interesting," Kakashi noted. "We're not far from the Kanabi Bridge." "Oh, sure. My team blew it up during the war," Konoha explained. "That was when Obaido died." "Obaido. Sounds like a fun guy. Tell me about him." "Yeah." "Hold on," Kakashi said as he threw some seals. "Auditory deception." Deidara observed Kakashi's reminiscences of the Uchiha goofball. "Seems like a fun guy, yeah." Then, during the play of the Kanabi Bridge incident, he heard something he recognized. "Can you play that part again?" Kakashi agreed. "That can't be good," Deidara grumbled. "Yeah, I recognize that voice. It's Tobai's serious voice, yeah." "Tobai?" Kakashi asked, frowning as suspicion crept over him. "But, even if..." "No, that's not possible," Kakashi thought. "He fought and nearly beat the 4th Hokage only 2 years after Kanabi. Did you say his right eye was the most visible?" "Yeah." "And have you ever seen him do anything out of the ordinary?" "It's Tobai, yeah," Deidara said, then paused. "He does have an intangibility technique, as well as a capture technique." "Capture?" "He draws things into some kind of personal world, yeah." "He draws things into some kind of personal world, yeah." "He brings them out somewhere else, pretends they were in his pockets, yeah, but I saw him once, yeah." "It's troublesome," Kakashi admitted. "My own eternal Mangekyo has the ability to banish things from reality. I'm not sure where they go," Kakashi said, shaking his head. "However, I don't understand how he could have become so twisted." Obaido was a fun-loving child who treasured his comrades above all else, whereas Tobai used the newborn Naruto as a hostage. "Jinjutsu," suggested Deidara. "They can really mess with you, yeah." "It's still difficult to believe." "Fair enough, it's possible I was mistaken, yes." Naruto repeatedly smacked Kinkaku against the ground until he went limp. The transformed young man exhaled and looked around. Check. 2 formerly 6-tailed undead ninja are gradually reverting. Check for a kilometer-long strewn field of rubble. Check for the arrival of Gaara, Sakura, and Sasuke. "Hello, guys," he said, slowly returning. these guys were a bit of a challenge. Hey, cool, the banana palm fan. Anyone else interested? The other participants shook their heads. Gaara solemnly stated that he had the most chakra available by a factor of well over 100. Alright, taking this, Sakura, do you want to keep the rest? Or should I have Mandias keep them for now? That second option may be safer, Sakura speculated. I don't have anywhere else to put things. Right, Mandias? I've got some legendary weapons for you, old guy. Mandias looked up. What exactly happened here? Two guys with 6 tails of Mila's chakra each, which I basically grabbed by the tails and used as flails. Plus I got demonic sage mode working. The wise old man shuddered. That explains the large number of craters in the shape of 6-tailed kitsune. But you mentioned legendary weapons. Yes, Naruto said as he handed them over. 4 of the 5 treasured tools. Thank goodness you explained how they work. It's my pleasure. Gaara approached them once more. The others were taken aback because they hadn't seen him leave. What were you up to? Destroying the brains. Standard zombie procedure, Kazekage explained calmly. Alright, here we go, Sakura grumbled. Everyone keep an eye out for traps, as well as any remaining Akatsuki members. Wouldn't they have also been caught in the Jinjutsu? You never know, and it doesn't work on non-living individuals. Did any Akatsuki member die without their body being destroyed? I don't think so. Itachi was cremated, I believe. As they talked, they entered a vast underground chamber filled with thousands of dormant clones. These look like Zetsu's white half, yeah, Deidara said. I had no idea there were so many of them. Yeah. There's Orochimaru, Sasuke said, pointing. He must be in the illusion like everyone else, sleeping over there, and there's Tobai. Kakashi made his way to the indicated ninja, then slowed, puzzled. Wait, that's an old Uchiha Madara. Intruders. Was that you? Naruto inquired, his voice trembling. It didn't sound like anyone in this room. Sakura sobbed. Wow, that's a lot of chakra. The opposite wall of the chamber collapsed, and an enormous creature pushed its way through, rolling madly as it locked onto each member of the assault team in turn. As the Akatsuki members began to stir, Sasuke snapped the Raijin on. Stop that thing, Naruto. Everyone else, start clearing out the rest of Akatsuki and these clones. As the 10 tails charged, Naruto leapt forward, transforming all the way in mid-leap, and the 2 colossal creatures collided with an earth-shaking boom. Everyone back up, or get a shield up if you have one, Sakura exclaimed as she looked up at the roof. This place is about to collapse. Rocks began to fall slowly, then quickly. Sasuke and Kakashi dodged, Deidara and Sakura slid underground, and Gaara buried himself in sand. When the ground stopped collapsing a few seconds later, what had been a network of connected underground caverns had become a network of irregular sinkholes, with hundreds of surviving white Zetsu, and a number of S-class nin emerging from the rubble. Naruto and the 10 tails had barely noticed the collapse, alternating between physically destroying buildings and chakra blasts capable of leveling half of Konoha. While Naruto appeared to have less than half the demonic chakra available to the incarnate 10 tails, his fusing it with Sage Mode put the two on an equal footing. That meant periodic backblasts from explosions washing over the rest of them. Sasuke clashed with Kasama, using the smaller Raijin's full mobility to keep the enormous Samehada at bay. Why are you following this guy in the first place? You mean Tobai or Madara? Kasama asked, laughing. Because of the promise of a world of truth, free of the deception of the ninja world. I've been there, said Sasuke. And believe me, it's not all that it appears to be. Mine was fine, Kasama said, shrugging. Samehada muttered. Does your sword have to do that? I think it's irritated that it can't shave your sword's chakra, Kasama replied. Wasn't that the Raijin? Yes, Sasuke said, reversing the blade for a moment to deflect a particularly vicious attack before returning it to its normal grip. And I believe you would have done better in Konoha. Konoha is not immune to the corruption of the ninja world. No, but it's not bad, Sasuke replied. After all, Naruto lives there. They both looked over at the titans in battle. Anyhow, Uchiha continued. Who exactly is Tobai? There's no one with that name. He's a Uchiha, but I'm not sure which one, Kasame explained. He introduced himself as Madara, but that was a lie, Sasuke said. A fantastic start to a world of truth. I'm only here for the sword fights, Kasama said. On that note, nice skills. I didn't expect someone from Konoha to be that good. I trained for years with the goal of beating Itachi, then trained to beat whoever killed the Uchiha clan after that, Sasuke explained. Oh, and he spun his free hand around, the Chidori spear gleaming. Kasama's eyes widened as he tried to comprehend the sudden increase in Sasuke's weapon count. Despite the difficulty increase, he still had time for conversation. Wait, Itachi wasn't the one who assassinated Uchiha. No, it was mostly Tobai, Sasuke explained. Why? Oh, just that you think you know a guy. Kasama trailed off before spinning Samehada in an impossible way for anyone without water blade channeling and launching an attack combination. Deidara repeatedly carpeted the rubble with explosives. How many of these wretched Zetsu are there? Sakura weaved in and out of cover, her gaze fixed on Orochimaru. He turned like a striking snake when she was about 50 feet away. Ah, the pink one. I didn't see you do much in the Chunin exams. Have you learned anything since then? Well, I did unravel your curse seal, and it has some interesting properties. Are you using natural chakra to stabilize opening the gates? Does Jugo do that? Orochimaru wondered. I guess that explains why birds like to land on him. You didn't know? You didn't know why it did what it did all this time? Sakura sighed. Are you not very good at science? Silence. I am the ultimate intellect, the one who has discovered life's secrets and bridged the gap between earth and heaven. Orochimaru drew the Kusanagi from his mindscape by reaching into his mouth. I think I'm going to kill you right now. Catch me if you can, Sakura said as she vanished in a whirlwind of petals, and a marbled water racing in nearly snatched his head from behind. I am the god's heirloom. Where have you gone? Orochimaru inquired of the air. When he saw something, he fired a drilling air bullet at it, killing a helpless Zetsu clone. My way is insight, and my path is mystery. You can't hide forever. The Snake Sannin summoned a brood of venomous snakes after flipping through the hand seals for a summon. Find the one with the pink hair and kill her. I've seen and understood everything. An explosion of power erupted from the battling Biju, crushing any civilian. To stay connected to the ground, Orochimaru used the tree walking technique. There's been both fire and water. A pair of otters moved through the rubble like lightning, launching javelins at any snake that appeared. Leap from the ground to the air. Orochimaru snarled and unleashed a swamp of the underworld. It didn't catch Sakura, so the otters blew him a raspberry before ducking beneath the mud surface to continue their hunt for snakes. I danced in the center of my multifaceted self. How are you doing it? Snarled Snake Sannin. I don't detect you anywhere. Everything I've worn has been woven from blue and gold. What's that singing? I am Sakura, and I will always be Sakura. The world has shifted. Orochimaru found himself in a grove of sakura trees, surrounded by a dense and forbiddingly dark forest, rather than a rubble-strewn crater. What? The Snake Sannin was taken aback. What exactly is this? This is my brain. He spun around to see a pink-haired girl with deep blue eyes dangling her feet in a slow-moving stream. My mental state manifested in the world. Another pink-haired girl with light blue eyes stood at the top of one of the trees as the speaker this time. Here, my thoughts are real. As she spoke, this girl with orange eyes shut the door on a lantern after trimming the wick. It's known as a reality marble. The fourth speaker was standing atop a simple but sturdy bridge made of quartzite, which Orochimaru recognized as one of the hardest rocks and an excellent material for earth element users. When I noticed this one had brown eyes, I became suspicious. You can only do it if you know what your true name is. This one was adjusting a lightning rod that appeared new and had brilliant yellow eyes. There has to be something else special, too. This time, the speaker's eyes were the shimmering green of medical chakra, and she closed the book as she spoke. Divinity. The voice came directly from above. Orochimaru looked around but found nothing. Each of the 6 girls closed their eyes for a split second, and equipment appeared from nowhere. 6 kunai, a kusarigama, a great axe, a pair of chakrams, 2 long spears, and a dozen senbon are formed from golden light. The green-eyed one with the senbon smiled. It wasn't a pleasant smile. Go get him, ladies. Gaara's first move, before lowering his sand defenses, was to summon a small raccoon. I need your assistance. The raccoon nodded and climbed up his clothes, wrapping itself around his neck. Gaara exhaled slowly before releasing the sand shield. A very old ninja confronted him. I see you're wearing Suna's robes and hat, boy. I do, Gaara said, nodding. It was simply the truth. What is your name? Madara Uchiha. I have followed the Uchiha clan's path back into history further than any other. His eyes blazed with the Mangekyo, then contorted into the Rinnegan. And I will not allow my plans to be disrupted now, Bansho Tendon. Something warned Gaara to look up. He noticed a massive rock descending through the atmosphere. It appeared to be at least 100 meters across, and it was moving so fast that simply compressing the air heated it. The earth rumbled and cracked all around him. Boulders flew up to form a shield, and the meteorite exploded off of it without breaking through. Remarkable, Madara said with a frown. That is Shukaku's power. But there is more, he seemed to think. You are a wise man. I am not, Gaara stated emphatically. I only have one helper, the raccoon. Madara's gaze returned to the Mangekyo. Then he must be fired. A sand shield slammed into Gaara, and a dozen boulders attempted to kill Madara. He repelled them indifferently, his gaze fixed on the cage of sand's hiding place. The sand shield was ripped apart by a single gesture. Another, and Gaara was forced to flicker out of the way as a supersonic rock chip nearly took his head off. Foolish. Gaara's next attack was met with his ultimately tough defense, the Shield of Shukaku. The Tanuki statue withstood the first blow, but a second caused cracks before being engulfed by Amaterasu. You have the same vision as Itachi. He was the heir, Madara stated flatly. Heir to my blood, heir to my hatred. Naruto found Itachi quite compassionate, Gaara explained, assembling silt, sand, pebbles, and boulders into a multi-layered defense. Heavy gravity blasts ripped through them as quickly as Gaara could re-establish the layers. Then he, too, was ultimately a fool. The source of the Uchiha's powers is truly darkness. We are not the heirs of the sage, but of the Jubai he broke and scattered. The Uchiha's might is in embracing this evil. Gaara grumbled something. I didn't hear anything. Sasuke isn't entirely evil. I'm not sure how that happened, but it happened. Susanoo's sword slashed through Gaara's defenses like paper. Gaara formed Shukaku's arms to distract Madara, hoping to re-establish his shield, and the elderly Uchiha touched them, drawing out their chakra and causing them to crumble. That's surprisingly annoying, Gaara said, bringing up the subject of sealless techniques again. The Mangekyo and the Rinnegan are bad enough on their own, but together, Madara finally smashed through the last of Gaara's defenses and locked his gaze on him. Tsukuyomi, fast entry. A ballistic Jinchuriki slammed into Madara's body, sending her flying across the nearest crater and 15 feet into the rock wall. Gaara shook his head, attempting to shake the effects of a day of mental torture. That reminds me of before I met Naruto. When he looked up, he saw a man with a Kumo headband and wisps of demonic chakra around him. The man struck a pose and began rapping. Whatever you want to do, do it. Just break the roof and you'll see the truth. Who the hell are you? I'm the bee, and don't get in my way. I'm number 8, I'm great, and I'm never late. Shukaku exclaimed, I think that's the Hachibai Jinchuriki. Excuse me, Gaara said, regaining the rapping man's attention. Are you Jaiki's container? That's right, he's my bro, and we can't be beat because we're the elite. I see. The badly melted shield of Shukaku, which shattered, quickly blocked a hypersonic rock from where Madara had gone. Gaara, Shukaku became ecstatic. I have control over the glass. Gaara nodded to his Biju and resumed layering defenses. I'll handle defense. If I can distract him, I might be able to destroy his animation seal. How? Apparently, my Biju has the ability to control both glass and sand. If I can find the seal, I can destroy it. That's a cool power. Anything else you got in the 11th hour, number 8? Gaara didn't hear Jaiki's response, but he suspected it was profane. So, Kakashi explained quietly. Who exactly are you? Tobai returned an impassive stare. That is not something you should be concerned about. Kamui. Tobai's mask was sucked into a wormhole by Kakashi's eye, revealing Obaido Uchiha's badly damaged face. Deidara was correct, it's you. Obaido remained silent. I only have one question, Kakashi said. Why? The Uchiha's eyes blinked. Pardon, how did you go from being a ridiculously optimistic newly promoted Chunin to being a complete and total psychopath who was nearly able to outfight Minato Namikaze, and was willing to murder a newborn child in cold blood in less than 2 years? Kakashi inquired. Oh, and why did you exterminate the Uchiha clan? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. Pull the second one. I mean, you should know the answer by now. And another thing, when did you get the Mangekyo? When Rin passed away. No, that doesn't make sense because you had it before Rin died, Kakashi pointed out. Your phasing technique is the only way you could avoid Sensei killing you in less than a second after you threatened his son. Rin died about 6 months before that, Obaido explained in the tone of a parent explaining something to a child. No, said Kakashi, shaking his head. She didn't die in the Kyuubi attack. She was caught in a building collapse when one of the hospital's floors gave way. That's a pathetic lie, snarled Obaido. You murdered her by stabbing her in the heart with your Chidori. Why would I? Kakashi wondered. Are you serious? I'm not sure. For the same reason you abandoned me. But all ninja are monsters who kill people, which is why I want to end this world. Abandoned? Kakashi inquired, puzzled. We didn't abandon you. You took what appeared to be a fatal wound, then gave me your eye. And then you said something along the lines of go, save Rin, which reminds me, how did you survive that? Only the strong survive in this twisted world of ninja. I was weak, yes, but I survived thanks to Uchiha Madara, one of the strong. As for that, I'm still puzzled as to how you're so powerful. It makes me suspicious. I'm not sure what you mean, Kakashi. I was on your team, Obaido, and your chakra capacity was in the yellow. I've worked with Guy, and I know what intensive training can do. But if you did nothing but train for 2 years, you might have the chakra capacity to summon the Kyuubi. If she's a regular boss in scale, Guy always despised me. That's not true or even relevant, Kakashi said, pacing back and forth. Oh, and another issue, how did you recover from such horrific injuries? I was cared for by Madara Uchiha, who was the only ninja in this world to show me compassion, because he had a plan to end all loss. You mean the illusion? Obito asked, nodding. That's even more absurd, because Madara is a notorious traitor and filicide, and the Moon Eye plan makes no sense. This is an ideal world. It's a heaven viewing illusion with a bit more subtlety, that's all it is. Let's say it's a shared world. What happens if 2 people want to be the best at something? And if it's all individual worlds, then it destroys all human interaction to replace it with copies that go through the motions of interacting, trapping a person inside their own head. Kakashi gave a blink. In fact, several thousand people have probably died by now, because they were somewhere where falling suddenly comatose would kill them, like mid-jump, and if this continued, everyone on the planet would die in only a few days of dehydration. Obito was the next to frown. And one more thing, you say the ninja world is nothing but hatred. That it's the worst place you could possibly be. Obito insisted, it is. When Madara opened my eyes, I saw the truth. Obito, you were buried under half a ton of rocks. You might have brain damage. The only other people who knew the full plan were these Zetsu clones, Kakashi said absently as he kicked one that was attempting to eat his shoe. And they're idiots, but my point is, how do you know you're not experiencing the moon's eye illusion in reverse? Obito opened his mouth to retort angrily, and then stopped. I can't. Finally, neither of them had said anything. In fact, whoever had spoken, in a harsh voice, was standing behind Obito. The Uchiha turned, phasing his body to keep himself safe, and was nailed by a red-black pinwheel's glare. The 10 tails shuddered, pausing abruptly and allowing Naruto to avoid a devastating blow. You have no idea how long I took to arrive. Kakashi shifted his gaze from Obito, who appeared to be unconscious, to the large, black crow hovering in front of him. What is your name? My name is Shijide of the Crows, and Itachi assigned me the mission of bearing Shisui's eye and using it on any Uchiha who posed a threat to Konoha. The crow shook his head, still hovering. It took me hours to get here. That new summoner of ours only summoned me a few minutes before the illusion activated, and I had to fly here by wing. Shijide then fixed his gaze on Kakashi. And if I hear one more as the crow flies joke, what in the name of the Rikudo Sennin have I been doing? Obito muttered as he regained consciousness. The moon. Are you serious? Kakashi turned to face the crow. I can't tell if you broke him or fixed him, but I'll take it. Shijide informed Kakashi there was a lot of black chakra in there, just so you know. I believe it was corruption. It was overpowering his emotions, and his critical thinking skills were probably harmed as well. That makes sense, Kakashi stated. Sakura drew herself from the air. Wow, reality marbles drain you more than you think. Oh, hi, sensei. Orochimaru's dead. Is he? Obito inquired from the floor. Oh, hello, Sakura exclaimed. Wow, a lot of corruption residue on you. You're the guy who went by the name Madara, right? After Madara died, I saw myself as his successor, as him, which was probably insane. That'll do, Sakura said, nodding. Madara became synonymous with a Uchiha who had been effectively possessed by the 10 tails. Sasuke appeared next to them. I heard that. Does that mean the person who killed my clan was possessed? Sakura gave a nod. That's right. He's not in control of his own actions, Obito admitted, though I admit it didn't take much to make me want to kill certain complete jerks. Wait a minute. Kakashi frowned. Didn't you fight Kasame? I was, Sasuke said, nodding. However, after he summoned an incredible amount of water and I electrocuted him several times, he fused with his sword to become a giant shark thing. And, Sakura continued, then a very large black man grabbed his tail and used him to hit Uchiha Madara. I'm curious who that is. Probably Killer Bee, Obito said as he stood up again. He is the Jinchuriki of the 8 tails, and if both I and Madara were possessed, it should be noted that there is also a single Zetsu with a black half, presumably also possessed. When a particularly large explosion erupted nearby, Deidara exclaimed triumphantly. That's the special one. 20 bonus points. I'm sorry. Sakura sighed. So, what happens when all of the possessed people are either freed or blown up? I'm not sure, Obito admitted. I wasn't particularly interested in the finer points of the plan, which was probably intentional on the part of whoever was possessing me. That makes sense, Sakura replied. Is there anything else you know that's important? Oh, the combination of Senju and Uchiha chakra is needed to unlock the Rinnegan. Does that help? Interesting, especially because it implies Nagato is related to both, but not critical. Thank you, nonetheless. No worries. The air seemed to tremble. Sakura blanched as her eyes briefly glowed bright gold. That is not acceptable. What? I recently discovered what happens when all the possessed people die. When the 10 tails hunched over, Naruto used the opportunity to gather himself and leap. A massive-tailed beast ball glowed in his jaws, cut with nature and wind chakra, and his claws glowed with impossibly sharp edges. The 10 tails then roared. The sound was beyond description. Shijide collided with the ground, beak first. Sakura, Sasuke, Kakashi, Obito, and Deidara were all knocked to the ground. As their partners reacted in atavistic terror, Gaara, B, and Naruto collapsed to the ground, clutching their ears. Blue dragons of light erupted from the 10 tails, soaring hundreds of miles into the sky before colliding on the bodies of the 3 Jinchuriki and the Gold and Silver brothers. It was over in a flash. Gaara and Killer Bee were dead, their bodies next to those of the foes they had only recently defeated, and Naruto was left gasping and clutching at the terrible wounds caused by the forced extraction. Last but not least, Sakura was the first to recover, and she flickered over to Naruto. As the rest of the Strike Force's shinobi arrived, she began scanning him. "I'm surprised you're still alive, Naruto. This kind of spiritual trauma would kill almost anyone." Naruto gave a weak smile. "It runs in the family." Obito looked at Kakashi. "This is critical. Why does the extraction usually take so long?" "The demons' wills must be suppressed," Obito responded quickly. "They don't integrate well. A quick extraction will have thrown them into turmoil, and they'll be trying to reclaim their individuality." Sakura raised her head from her work on Naruto's wounds. "I can confirm that. There's plenty of black chakra, but all 9 of the Biju are thrashing around trying to escape," she said, looking down. "Damn it. The loss of that seal is causing chakra bleed. Your network is too accustomed to having it there. I need to close the gap somehow." Kakashi bowed his head. "I can do it, but it will render me ineffective for the rest of the battle." "Do you know how to fix things like this?" "What's the seal?" "There is no seal," Kakashi said, his eye contorting into the eternal Mangekyo. Shiranui. White fire swept across his body before leaping to Naruto and focusing on his chest. The flames died after a brief moment, and Sakura rescanned him, puzzled. "He is fine. Better than fine, actually, because his pathways are completely clear. There's no leakage around where the seal used to be, and it even cleaned under his fingernails." Kakashi sagged, muttering something about cheap techniques. "Right," Naruto said, running through 3 seals before slamming his hand into the ground. "Ikamaru, please notify Nagato that we urgently require his presence at Konoha Hospital, 5th floor, room 203. The silver fox vanished into thin air. "Did Akatsuki keep the other Jinchuriki's bodies?" "Yeah," Deidara agreed. "That's where I was taking Gaara's when you got me. It's in a room a lot lower than the main chamber." "Yeah." "Sasuke, you and Deidara go get them." "Sakura, what does that problem with my seal mean?" "Essentially, without the seal, and especially without the Biju, your body was pumping chakra to it as part of the normal circulatory cycle, and it was just leaking out. What if Nagato brought the others back to life? They'd be dead in a matter of minutes, right? Can you do a Jinchuriki seal?" "Yes," Sakura said emphatically. "It's relatively easy to do the sealing, at least, after looking at yours. The difficult part is keeping the Biju under control." "That won't be an issue." Sakura abruptly pointed to the sky. "Be careful." Something came hurtling in from Konoha's direction, stopped 3 inches above the ground with a repulsion burst, and then fell onto its 4 metal legs. Obito's eyes blinked. "Is that a hospital bed, Nagato?" "I have no idea who you are, and I'll find out later," Nagato said to Naruto and Sakura. "What exactly is it?" Why did you bring the bed?" Nagato replied. "Strict bed rest. Doctor's orders." Tsunade is frightening, but I assume it's urgent because the 10 tails is following you." "Yes, but how many people can you resurrect in time with samsara?" "Quite a lot, provided they're well preserved." "Who are they?" Sasuke vanished after placing Yujiro Nai on the floor next to them. Deidara treated Han similarly. "With the exception of me, none of the Jinchuriki have been permanently damaged by extraction." "That I can do," Nagato said, nodding. "When?" "First, Gaara. You'll know when." Naruto closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, they were the slit yellow of his sage mode. "And make sure you guys are safe because there will be a lot of explosions." Sakura vanished for a moment, then reappeared with Gaara and B's bodies. "Now, it's time to make history," Naruto said, leaping forward. The first sign that Naruto was still alive came when 2 Rasen Shuriken struck it in the face. It roared, turned, and spat annihilation, but Naruto had vanished. He shot over it, hurled another Rasen Shuriken, summoned a swarm of clones, and slammed 50 Great Ball Rasengan into it all along its length. Naruto landed on the ground and took off running, his mind focused on what he'd seen after Millie was ripped from him. At that precise moment, the fragments of his mother's chakra that comprised his seal made contact with him. In the frozen time of his inner self, I spoke to him and told him things. This was the most immediately useful thing. 2 chains of pure chakra erupted from Naruto's sleeves, entangling the 10 Tails' right legs and allowing him to trip it with a powerful pull. He left them in place and charged forward, followed by another Sage Rasen Shuriken. Did he just? Sakura inquired. Kakashi grinned. As mother, so son. Naruto jumped a quarter mile into the air, expending the last of his Sage Chakra on yet another Rasen Shuriken. He focused, drew in more of nature's chakra, and returned to the state within seconds. He'd been exposed, but he'd also been moving quickly and high in the air. He was now back to his full Sage form. And, by the looks of it, he'd done nearly enough damage. Hey, I'm one for overkill anyway, he said, multiplying himself and launching a volley of wind Rasengan. Naruto flung out another chakra chain with whiplash speed as the 10 Tails screamed in rage. It sank into the shape of the beast, wrapped around something, and pulled. Sakura's mouth dropped open. Nagato, resurrect Gaara right now. Nagato gave a nod. The heavenly life Samsara. Green energy flowed from a small ugly statue to Gaara. Gaara sat up and blinked. Can you tell me what happened? The last thing I remember is, Sakura completed her hand seal sequence, drew a seal on Gaara faster than the eye could follow, and activated it. As the one-tailed Tanuki Naruto had pulled from the Jubai fell towards them, it was caught in the technique's effect field and drawn back into Gaara. Oh, this is becoming a habit, Gaara said, checking the seal on his stomach. Every time I die, it turns out that someone has ripped out my biju. At least you're back. Again, Sasuke said as he set Fu down. Most people don't come back from the dead more than once. Is Shukaku okay? He's fine, though he expresses a desire to get very drunk, which I believe I will allow him once this is over. Sakura was writing once more. You'd better get ready to resurrect Yujito. Nagato, I don't think Naruto's heard of warning people. 3 more explosions followed in rapid succession. The Raijin was drawn by Sasuke. Hey, Deidara, I think he could use some assistance. Let's see who can cause the most havoc. Uchiha, you're my type of guy, yeah. Deidara said as she took out a storage seal. Let's see, I have 15 dragons and 230 birds. Where should I begin? Naruto's shadow clone appeared next to them. Hey, guys, I'd like some fire support. Oh, good. Gaara, while I'm recharging Sage mode, you and the other Jinchuriki hit it with a tailed beast bomb or something equally destructive, and let the others know when they're revived. Gaara gave a nod. That'll do. A hail of railgun fire smashed into the face of the 10 Tails, followed by an entire explosive dragon. The clone blinked. Matatabi on the way in a second, he said as he popped. Nagato cast a glance at Sakura. It appears he has heard of warning people. Statistical outlier with no statistical significance. The 2-tailed cat soared into the air with a thunderous yowl. Shijide said as he watched the fireworks. This is pretty cool. A chitter came from the raccoon next to him. What? We invented gunpowder. I like big bangs. A type of cheer up. No, I'm not serene. I'm not the crow sage. I don't have to be serene. The raccoon just gave him a look. Stop it. That makes me uncomfortable. A close-spaced series of explosions echoed over the ravaged landscape. Oh, what? What the hell is that? Shijide abruptly glared, forestalling the next comment. Yes, I know it's the 5 tails. I just don't know what animal it is. The raccoon squeaked. That's what a Kirin looks like. Huh, you learn something new every day. Naruto, Sakura shouted during one of the brief periods when nothing was exploding, having just finished the seal on B's chest. A shadow clone appeared next to her. What exactly is it? When you take the 8 tails out, then the Jubai will become a lot more stable since the vast majority of its power will be Millie's. Do you have a plan for that? Yeah. Naruto nodded. Oh, that reminds me. Who has the best emotional control? You, Sasuke, Kakashi, Deidara, or Sai? Sakura thought for a moment. Sai, good. Get him here via that crow, and set him up with a containment seal. The clone dispelled as Naruto's Sage mode ran out again, and 7 Biju balls hit the 10 tails in quick succession while he recharged. Up until this point, the various Biju he'd removed had been relatively small fractions of the whole. Even the 7 tails, now resealed into Fu, had been a mere 14%. But when Naruto sent his chains into the Jubai's form and pulled out Juki, a full third of its remaining chakra was torn out. The backlash was substantial, and more to the point what was left wasn't enough to sustain a 10-tailed form. As Naruto cracked the whip and sent Juki towards B's reviving form, He watched with apprehension. One of the tails vanished. The other 9 solidified, becoming Millie's familiar fox fur, and the rest of its body became hers. Nevertheless, there was still a lot of corrupted chakra in there. Rather than fighting the 10 tails, he was fighting a mind-controlled Millie. Screw it. You ready, Dad? After a moment, Naruto nodded, seemingly to himself. Good. One last Sage Mode charge, and he shot forwards just as the 9-tailed demon fox set itself. Earth wall. The giant fox looked puzzled for a moment, then was launched 200 feet into the air by a rock wall which punched out of the ground. 50 clones appeared, and threw Wind Rasengan followed by Big Ball Rasengan. As the fox finally came hurtling back down, 6 full seconds after takeoff, Naruto span up a Rasen Shuriken and left a clone holding it underneath Millie. Slashing around with a pair of lightning quick body flickers, he built a second one and threw it from above just as she landed on the first. The 9 tails thrashed about in pain as the pair of upper S wind techniques detonated at once. In that brief window when it not only would not, but could not move, Naruto fired off the chakra chain's barrier and trussed Millie up so she was immobilized. Sekira ran over. Sais arrived, still asleep, and I set up the containment seal on him. Do you need me to do yours? No. Naruto walked forward to the enormous, thrashing muzzle and placed a hand on it. Dad's got this. Sekira blinked. Pardon, way back when she first got sealed in me, Dad put fragments of himself and Mum in the seal. Mum taught me how to do the chakra chains, and Dad's got the strength to reform my seal once. Naruto grinned. Good thing he never had to do it before now. No kidding. Sekira muttered. The 2 4-symbol seals blossomed on Naruto's torso, then hardened into their customary form. Millie dissolved into red chakra, which flowed into the seal, and, as the vast amount of chakra poured back into Naruto, black residue accumulated on the outside. Neat. Yeah. No non-Millie chakra allowed. Shove it into Sai. He'll annoy it more than it annoys him. Naruto grinned, then frowned. Hey, look. When she went from solid to intangible, something fell out. Hey, Sasuke. Mind checking what that was? Sasuke appeared next to it. Huh? It's that monk kid. Sora. Naruto checked. Wow. Wonder what he was doing in the 10 tails. What was he doing? Kakashi asked Obaido. Extraction takes time, alright. I kidnapped him, and then threw him into the statue's mouth hole. It had to get Kyuubi chakra from somewhere. After about 30 seconds, the process was complete. Sekira, hands glowing blue, gathered up the residual black chakra and flickered over to Sai to make him the container of it. This particular pair of 4-symbol seals had no convenient gap for leakage like the others. Safety first. Meanwhile, Naruto grinned as he collapsed onto the crater floor. It's great to have you back, Millie. It's great to be back. When that nasty 10 tails was in charge, I was furious. Is it necessary to seek counseling? Need it or not, it's going to get it now that it's been sealed into Sai. Hey, kid, said the crow, flying overhead. Yeah, one of the 10 tails' final death beams carved a trench all the way to the sea. You'd better get moving or you'll drown. Thank you for the warning, Naruto said as he stood up again. Is there anything else down here? No, Sasuke moved that Sora kid out of the way, and now the Rinnegan user is reviving him. Cool, Naruto said as he dashed off, jumping out of the crater complex as it began to fill. Aw, good, Sakura said as she finished sealing. That should have finally broken that illusion. Good morning, Sai. Is it morning yet? Sai inquired. There must be a significant amount of dust in the air, as it is still quite dark. I also appear to have obtained an Eknake's knock. Pardon, the polar opposite of conscience. It's ranting at me about murder, death, being foiled, and other such things. It's quite repetitive. I'm curious if it would respond to art therapy. Worth a shot, Sakura shrugged. So, all's well that ends well, Kakashi said. The majority of the Jinchuriki nodded, though some appeared perplexed. Egura then punched Obaido in the jaw. Whoa, what was that for? Naruto asked, surprised. Do you know how long I was mind-controlled for? Egura twitched. I need to retake the academy entrance exam. So, Gaara inquired, what do we do now? Return home. Good plan, Yujiro said, nodding. Whoever you are, Jinchuriki with 4 tails. Shukaku suggests that we communicate via the chat room. I'm sure he'll tell me what that means at some point. You guys will vouch for me, yeah. Deidara asked Han and Roshi. Of course, says one. You may have blown me up 47 times when you captured me, but that's all in the past, Han said expansively. Let's go get a drink, Roshi. We deserve it. You're buying, Deidara. What do you mean? You did blow myself up 47 times. Yes. Ah, Kakashi, Sarutobi said, I had a feeling Team 7 was at the heart of this. Kurenai told me what she knew, but not everything. Okay, this could take a while, Kakashi said, looking over at the figure at the back of their group with a paper bag over his head. turn the village on its side. Temari insisted. No stone must be left unturned in the search for answers about what happened to the Keisuke. Kankuro, why aren't you looking for him? Kankuro raised his finger. What? Oh, Temari said, looking north. Gaara surfed back into Suna on the tip of a massive sand wave, arms folded, his robes and hat impeccable. The wave tightened into a curl as it approached the outskirts and swept down the main street. As he approached his tower, the window shattered and reformed behind him as the curl deposited him at his desk. So, he asked his startled secretary, what's next on the agenda? Remarkable, said Sarutobi. So, Akatsuki is no longer alive. Yes, both Nagato and Obito replied at the same time. I'm going to start a humanitarian organization, but calling it Akatsuki like my last one would be confusing. Nagato continued. First and foremost, Obito Uchiha, Sarutobi steepled his fingers. Inoichi Yamanaka will examine you, and if you pass, we'll call what you've been doing for the last 17 years convalescence. Thank you, Hokage, Obito said with a bow, more than I deserve. See that you are getting what you deserve. Why are you in that bed, Nagato? I have to say, I'm impressed you got it to walk. Take a nap. Unusual definition, the third reflected. And you've been assigned to keep an eye on Obito and Sai for signs of Jubai influence. Wait a minute, Naruto said. What about him being the captain of Team 7? That's the other thing, Sarutobi said, satisfied. The timing of this confrontation is very convenient. The Genin exams were yesterday. Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, and Sakura Haruno are promoted to Jonin, and Team 7 is dissolved. Tomorrow, report to the mission room to find out which teams you've been assigned to test and teach. The three newly promoted Jonin could only nod in amazement. And finally, Sai, for the time being, light duty, as well as regular counseling sessions. I get it, Sai said calmly. What is the reason for the alert? Mei and her bodyguards asked Haku as they mirror traveled to the outskirts of the village. 2 significant chakra signatures were discovered. They've been approaching slowly, replied the sentry commander. Hey, a familiar voice said, is anyone home? Yukitaka, what are you doing alive? Mei responded. Long story short, could we please come in? Muibari, Kabutori, Simhata, and Kiba have swords, a quiet voice added. What? So you got Kisame? Zabuza asked, then chuckled harshly. Actually, that was the 1 tails container and the 8 tails container, or so I'm told, Yukitaka explained. The 9 tails container tore apart Akatsuki's Biju combination, put all of them back in the right place, and generally caused enormous damage. A container with 9 tails. You mean the boy with the orange fixation? They asked. Oh, him? Zabuza shivered. You are aware that I fought him in Wave Country. It did not go well. It's probably a good thing we skipped that mission. Wait, Mei said, her gaze fixed on the silhouettes emerging from the fog. Is that Yagura? Hello. Wait, I recognize you, the quiet voice said again. Everyone was tense. You're the genin who inspired me to train as a ninja. Zabuza threw down his sword. He's kind of hazy about the stuff that happened while he was under mind control, which, for reference, starts about a day before he entered the academy. Yukitaka rubbed the back of his neck. I could have helped, Jiraiya grumbled. I have sage mode, I could have broken that illusion. My name is Sasuke Uchiha, Sasuke said, looking over his 3 genin. Your new Jonin sensei is me. In short, I'm better than you. And if I have anything to say about it, by the time I'm done with you, I'll be the only one better than you. As he ran to the outskirts of the village, a smash through 3 walls. You'd better have a compelling reason for pretending to be dead. Look, bro, no diss, you know, but I had to take a vacation or I'd blow. And look who I discovered underground when I was there. I was the one revived first, B. Yujito said as he kicked B in the back of the knee and walked past him as he collapsed to the floor. I apologize for my extended absence, sir. A death occurred in the family. Whose? I inquired. Mine. I'm sure it's your family. But, no, sir. I died. I was brought back just yesterday, and some Konoha ninja resealed my biju into me. The Raikage frowned. Come on, I want to hear all about it, and then I'll be able to tell if you've lost your edge in the sparring ring. My name is Sakura Haruno, and I want to emphasize that your ninja prowess has nothing to do with who you were born as or what family you come from. It's about making the most of your abilities and developing them to their full potential. Everything else helps, but it only helps. Can you tell me what this reminds you of? Sai stated. Murder, death, pain, killing, rage, and hate. Really? Sai frowned as he examined the card. It looks more like a butterfly to me. The restrained mind of Tobai thrashed around in rage. Now, let's try some art therapy. Which color would you like to begin with? Blood is killed by rage pain. Red is an intriguing choice. It can represent a sunset or autumn leaves. Deidara, Roshi, and Han marched into Iwa, arms linked across their shoulders, singing loudly and drunkenly. The sentries rubbed their eyes, certain they were seeing things, as Deidara punctuated the chorus with Shibuki's loud explosions. "This is my boomstick, by the way," he yelled, before the three of them launched into the next verse of the Hedgehog song. "Maybe a red arrow?" Nagato inquired. "Possible," Conan agreed, "but arrows do have weaponry connotations for civilians. Red? No, a sword is also a weapon. It is difficult to create a new symbol." The clouds were a lucky break. "Hi, Jonin. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I am the fourth son. I have more chakra than any other human being alive. I am the container of the most powerful being on the planet. I am one with everything, and I am the main reason Konoha now has so many S-ranked nin. And I was the last one standing, so my expectations for you are a little high." His three genin exchanged glances before one of them cleared his throat and spoke up. "My name is Inari, if you recall. I was the guy in Wave who was depressed until you made me stand up for myself. My goal is to restore Wave as a country with a Nina village so that we can help ourselves. It works for me." "Who's next?" Naruto asked. "Hello, my name is Yukimaru. I want to make Girin proud. It's brief and to the point." "That's fine with me. And finally, my name is Isaribai. Tsunade had to cure me of a transformation illness, which took a long time, but now I'm ready to learn how to be a proper ninja. This is the spirit. Now, go to training ground 12 first thing tomorrow morning. It is up to you how much breakfast you eat, but you should know that I intend to only give you lunch after the first training exercise you have is completed. And because it will be stressful, you may become ill if you eat too much. Nobody desires that." Naruto smirked as the three walked away. This was going to be fun.
So this was the end of the series. To watch more series like this, subscribe to my channel. Till then, we weeb offline.